Hello. If you've ever wanted to improve your health or lose weight, you've probably looked for outside guidance in the form of a diet at one time or another. It's actually a shocking statistic, but the average midlife woman has gone on 61 diets in her lifetime. hmm So, if diets work, why do we have to go on so many of them? When I speak with women, they tell me that they're really wanting to be healthier, that they're realizing that diets are just not working, but they blame themselves. And honestly, they just don't know what else to do. Can you relate to that? Go ahead and give me a thumbs up down below if that speaks to you. Now, today I'm going to share why we are mistakenly looking for diet food rules to improve our health instead of really asking our own bodies, and how we can change this so that we can discover what really does exist beyond dieting. If you're tired of judging yourself for not having enough willpower to get the proven results advertised, then this video is for you. My name is Kim Jakes here. If you're new to my community, I'm a health coach specializing in helping midlife women discover what exists beyond dieting so that you can overcome food cravings and emotional eating and really truly enjoy a beautiful relationship with food. Now, I've been fascinated in how the body works and how to optimize health really since I was a kid. I had my first herb garden when I was 13. And when I was a teenager, I had a major stroke. And I learned quickly that I really needed to prioritize an anti inflammatory lifestyle. I became really fascinated in health and how to optimize it. And I became a wellness professional back in 1999. I've had a really fulfilling career empowering people to optimize their health. And when I reached midlife, though, there were new health challenges to overcome. Now, if you are in your midlife stages, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That included weight gain and energy loss as the top two for me. So I went looking for new solutions. And what I found for solutions really turned out to be diets with food rules that were kind of masquerading as wellness solutions. There was a lot of restrictions and definitely promised proven results. So when the proven results systems failed to lead to the long-term results that I really wanted, I began to really question myself. Why weren't they working for me? Was I broken? I wasn't really broken. I just fallen into believing that a diet program knew what my body needed versus asking my body directly. But we're not really taught to ask our body what it needs. Okay. It's so easy to fall into a diet cycle mentality, really. Start second guessing yourself and undermining your long term health by kind of yo yo dieting. I just really wanted to feel confident and good in my body. But ultimately, I was feeling worse. I was feeling worse physically, and I was feeling worse emotionally. If you can relate to any of this, give me a thumbs up down below. And you're not alone. It's super common. And we don't talk about it enough. None of the diets that I was going on were sustainable, really. I hadn't really thought that through. I had an outcome that I wanted to achieve because I had a desire to maintain my thin, ideal body. And I really was willing to try to get a quick win that would somehow last long term, even though I wasn't willing to maintain that restriction long term, right? So I decided there really had to be a better way. I needed to find a way to get unstuck with my food and my eating. I didn't really want to live an uncomfortable relationship with food and my body. That thin ideal that I had internalized, really, I decided I needed to change that mindset first. And I really needed to change my mindset around needing to find the fix in food rules outside of myself. That's when I discovered the intuitive eating. Intuitive eating is a self-care framework that helps you to relearn how to listen to and care for your body in the way that she uniquely needs. Your body really knows. We've just become disconnected from hearing her. Here's what I mean. Have you ever seen a baby eat? They know when they're hungry, they wail when they're hungry, and they know when they're full. They spit out the nipple when they're full, right? You cannot force a baby to eat when they're not hungry or to stop before they're full, right? We're born with this innate knowledge of our hunger and our fullness signals until we become disconnected from our signals. And it all starts with little things like learning how to emotionally eat as adults who love us, give us a cookie when we're crying to soothe us, right? Or we learn how to eat according to a clock at school, needing to wait until the bell rings in order to be able to access food. It's no wonder that we become disconnected from our own body messages as we begin to look for these outside signals in order to eat, okay? Therefore, we start to look for outside solutions to guide our eating, okay? An example of this from my own life. I had gotten into a diet food rule of intermittent fasting. Now, I will let you know, I'm a big proponent of intermittent fasting, okay? Intermittent fasting, I say that again. But the information that I was reading was that if I followed the food rule of eating in a smaller window of time, that I would have the improved energy and the weight loss that I was looking for, right? What the food rule did not speak about was the importance of the word intermittent in the phrase intermittent fasting. I began to consistently maintain a short eating window, even if my body was giving me cues of physical hunger. It's not called consistent fasting, it's called intermittent fasting. And remember, the word intermittent means irregular. It does not mean consistent. So my energy began to dip and I just wasn't getting the results I wanted. And then when I remembered to honor my body cues, I was able to stop the idea of the strict rule and find this kind of ever evolving rhythm of hunger and fullness cues, of eating that really humans are designed to follow. We are animals, we're not machines, okay? So give me a thumbs up if you've ever experienced trying to follow a diet food rule only to find that you really had to ignore your body cues in order to be able to follow that food rule. And it turns out it's not a lack of willpower that stops you from maintaining it. It's a deep unconscious desire to not keep overriding your small, quietly spoken body cues that are still there. And that's not a bad thing, right? It's just so easy to blame ourselves and our lack of willpower versus looking at the system of diet food rules is not working. Okay, so pop in the comments, what's one food rule that you have tried to follow and thought you had lack of willpower to not commit to it long term? Now, after learning about this diet cycle and food rules and the mentality that I had kind of found myself in with approved foods and forbidden foods, and it didn't feel good. It was not sustainable. I really stopped and discovered that the only true way to shift my struggles with food was to change how I thought about food. I stopped labeling food as good and bad. I traded in my strict rules for a realistic plan I could follow. I stopped beating myself up for small mistakes, and I had some pretty incredible results. I learned how to eat and take care of myself in ways that felt good, not like a punishment. I felt a new sense of freedom and confidence with my food and with my body. And so, just to recap, the reality is that we are born with the ability to feel our hunger. We are born with our own cues to be able to listen to. But we begin to eat for other reasons than physical hunger. And that begins to erode our body awareness and the trust in our own body. So that's why we start looking to outside guidance to be able to help us control our eating. We're also groomed from a really young age to seek a thin ideal through proven systems, right? And we blame not having enough willpower as being the reason why it doesn't work. So if you found yourself wanting to discover if there really is something that exists beyond dieting, then this is exactly what I work with in my one-on-one coaching and my upcoming Making Peace with Your Plate 14-day group coaching program. If you would like more information or to join the interest list for that program, just send me a quick DM or a comment below. I really hope that this has been helpful and perhaps may have given you a new perspective on your relationship with food. Thank you so much. And I hope that you have an amazing